Favor, touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Favor, touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it.
Well, good evening, Sigma race fans. We come at you here live tonight from Kansas, and it should be a splendid one on tap here. 46 cars making the call here tonight, a very rare but commonly trying to expand these fields in the Sigma Cup Series to provide us with some more racing action, some bigger fields, bigger action, bigger crashes, bigger chaos. Here tonight in Kansas, 46 drivers take to the field for 300 miles, 200 laps. It should be a quicker one, a little bit more digestible for the audience to tune in and follow along. And of course, none other than Monty Shangle with the pole position here in the year. We're paying tribute to Greg Biffle. He didn't make the Hall of Fame ballot. He didn't make it to the Hall of Fame this year. He was on the ballot and did not get enough votes. Those honors went to Kevin Harvick and Jeff Burton, both drivers that Greg Biffle had raced against. Not this year, maybe next year we'll see Greg Biffle's name in the Hall of Fame. But we'll get through the starting lineup here in tonight's Kansas Quake 300. Monty Shangle with that Biffle tribute car alongside Tadenberger, and also paying some tributes to Greg Biffle with 3M on the hood. Then you have Jacob Shangle with the number 60 tribute car there alongside Trevor Walker. Very impressive qualifying position for Mr. Walker there. We have not seen him this high up in the running order very much at all. Sebastian Torres and Ewan Wood Army in the next row, followed by Tom Cording and Cooper Dwight. Then you got Al Bunch and Bradley Ream. Those two are rivals against each other pretty much through thick and thin. Up the ladder into Cup now, they're racing each other for all the wins. John Hagan and Finley Herwick next row back with Tasha Wright and Wyatt Wilkinson, followed by Brian DeBlank and Chaz Chadwick. Then you have Tyler Aspinall and Chase Kovacic, Fireball Robert with Jimmy Logano, Luis Rodriguez with Kara Shangle. This is the only track that Kara has ever won at in Sigma Cup history. And that was before her name changed to Kara Shangle. So she wants to try and get a win with with the Shangle name. We are starting the engines already. I didn't get through the entire lineup, so we'll just go ahead and hop over to the primary camera here tonight as we skim through the last half of the field here. All 46 cars in the field here tonight fending for the top spot. So Monty Shangle fresh off a race victory, his last race out, and looking to try and make it back-to-back. He's done it before, hasn't done it in a while. It's been about 2 years since his last back-to-back race win. Weeks was actually 4 in a row when he did it last. Already out of the gates, a strong run by the 60. He ain't wasting any time. Jacob Shangle wants to go to the lead here. Key detail, number 60 there of Jacob Shangle, he has 2 wins here at Kansas. He is the only driver with multiple wins in the 16 races that we've hosted here at Kansas. Monty, on the other hand, winless, and has led lots of laps here, has put him in positions to win the race, but has never actually claimed victory here at Kansas. It's been elusive. So you also got Tyler Shangle, who's been to victory lane here. Kara, via her maiden name, however, Kara Carl, was when she won in Kansas 2022 prior to getting married to Jacob Shangle in the 60 there. And she is yet to win with the new name, which is a fun fact. I like pointing it out when I do, because I would like to see her get a victory as Kara Shangle here one day or another. But we'll see. Definitely has this track on her calendar each year. She's won here before. Could be one of those courses that are special for certain horses. Liz is also in the field here tonight. Monty and Liz, Jacob and Kara. Then you also have Tyler Shangle in the number 7. Monty with the fastest lap so far, leading the race over Jacob Shangle. Of the Shangle household, all running Greg Biffle tribute cars this year. Honor the Biff. Only 2 of them have went to victory lane, and those are the 2 running up front right now of Monty and Jacob. And here we have our first caution of the evening. Ah, man, I jinxed it. I best not talk, because when I do, I always jinx things, and Kara ends up in a wreck here. She might be credited with 46th place here tonight. Tough break. She was in 31st when this wreck happens. Craig the Void and Lynn Farrell get into it there, collecting Kara Shangle. And it looks like that's the worst of it, but we'll go back a lap. He gets down on the apron. I don't know if there's something wrong with the car, but when he slid back up the track, it collects the 69 of Lynn Farrell and the 51 of Kara Shangle. Very early wreck here tonight, and man, that was such a hard hit for Kara, hitting that wall with gusto. That's just a weird way to wreck. You don't often see wrecks happen like that, where he went way off onto the apron. It makes you wonder if there was something maybe wrong with the zero car for him to get that far out of line. Almost did that. Our drone cam must have got some debris there during that camera angle. Yeah, it kind of worked. Kind of a fun little angle. Try to maybe do this instead. Definitely trying out some new tools here tonight. Lynn Farrell credited with 46th place here tonight. Kara Shangle with 45th at the moment, but yep, retired. Full failure on her car there after hitting the outside wall as hard as she did there. Well, this restart will be single file, but we'll make sure it's double file for the next restart here tonight. Monty Shangle leads the way over Tom Cording, John Hagan, Tasha Wright, and Al Bunch, followed by Luis Rodriguez, Wyatt Wilkinson, Lucas Holmes, Chaz Chadwick, and Finley Herwig with the top 10 runs so far. What happened to Jacob Shangle on pit stops here? That 60 was up in the top 5. He's all the way back to 21st on pit stops here. Damage on some of these other cars, more than likely involved with whoops. We had a bowling ball tournament here on pit road. Everyone just kind of losing it. That's not normal by any means. Well, that's new. I mean, I don't know what else that can explain. I don't know how to explain that one. So some folks with a little bit more damage on their car because of spinners on pit road. Weird, but okay. We continue on here. Lap 9. Monty Shangle, the race leader, over Tom Cording. Wow, Brandon Butler the second already. Qualified outside the top 40, and he's up into the top 15. Got to give him credit. It doesn't matter. The qualifying scenarios are always ugly for him, but he finds a way to charge to the front. But yeah, Monty, fresh off of his win 2 weeks ago now at Iowa, rolling into Kansas tonight. Two distinctly different tracks. Iowa much more akin to a short track, and then of course tonight here at Kansas, mile-and-a-half intermediate. But for Monty, he's got the win at Phoenix this year and Iowa, two short tracks. Now showing his strength here at the mile-and-a-half intermediate. Cording Brothers Motorsports running 2-3 there with Tom Cording and Tasha Wright. Tasha Wright with the fastest lap so far, and we got another spinner. It was another caution. I got Chad Hertenstein at the back of the field here. Where is that smoke coming from on the racetrack? Where did we miss the smoke? Oh, wow. Okay. So we've got ourselves somewhat of a little pit road glitch here at Kansas, which, as wild as that is, he come off pit road and didn't make contact with anyone. So this might have been the Pandora's box I've opened by expanding the pit stalls to 46 car pit stalls here at numerous tracks. Kind of testing right now. I think the idea is 45 might be the cap going forward. So 46 this year might be kind of the only year we really test the waters with 46 cars on track, as it seems to be creating more unusual glitches that I've never seen with the game before. But at the same time, you got 46 cars on the racetrack, and all of them have to deal with it the same. So Monty putting the 9 there. Braden Varga a lap down here on lap 16 here tonight. Ooh, Tom Cording loses a little bit of momentum there, getting right up beside the number 9. So yeah, doubleheader tonight, folks. Thank you for tuning in so far, as trying to get a head start on leaving town this weekend. So no broadcast on Thursday. I didn't want to have too much going on. So everything is kind of in the speed up mode here for this week, getting the doubleheader yesterday with trucks and ARCA, and then of course the doubleheader here tonight with Bridge to Cup and Cup. Congratulations, of course, to Cannon Gage on getting the win in the Bridge to Cup race here earlier tonight at Indianapolis. And here we are in Kansas tonight. This is race number 20 of 42. Next week is going to be the halfway point in the Sigma Cup Series. And we're going to be going to the Coke 600 in Charlotte next week. The Mini Coke 100 will set the lineup for the remaining drivers not locked in. It's going to be a whole wild week of racing here at the Cup Series. We're going to have some new names trying to make it up to the Cup car, Cup race, try to make their debut perhaps in a crown jewel event such as the Coke 600. And yeah, we're not cutting any corners. It's going to be 400 laps at Charlotte, so it's a no joke endurance race, just like the real Coke 600. We might do it 5 days after, but it's still going to be just as good here in the Sigma Cup Series. Thank goodness the rain in real life has not been a factor at delaying all the NASCAR races this year. That'd be the only thing that would effectively change our schedules if the race got delayed 4 days late. And we would not be running it simultaneously alongside the Cup Series. I would definitely reevaluate, readjust. If the rare account that it does happen that way, I don't think you would see that delayed 4 days down the road. Especially if they have to race their next race the following week, I think at Pocono or Michigan, one of the two tracks. They would probably have to reschedule the Coke 600 if there was a monsoon rainstorm for 4 days straight in Charlotte. But in the meanwhile, here tonight in Kansas, part of the Kansas Quake 300 miles here tonight with the Sigma Cup Stars. 200 laps, the total distance. It's actually kind of a perfect length race. We're going to see about 2 or 3 pit stops from your drivers, whether that's under green flag or during caution periods tonight. But Monty Shangle's been up front leading all the laps so far, putting on a good showing. Tasha Wright in third with the fastest lap. And then we also got John Hagan in the mix with Al Bunch pair of drivers that have not yet won this season. Tom Cording winless this year as well in the Cup side of things, and Tasha Wright. So 4 drivers in the top 5 looking for that first win this year. Here goes Finley Herwig on the attack. He's going to get around Al Bunch for 5th place. Al not letting him get by very quietly, though. He's going to fight back on the high side and cut him off there. You also got Chaz Chadwick, Wyatt Wilkinson, and Tyler Schengle just following behind, 6th, 7th, 8th. Here goes Finley Herwig on the other attack. He's going to get around Al Bunch this time, I think. Side by side through the middle of the turn. Drag race down the backstretch. Al Bunch putting up a fight. He wants to be in contention for a race win this year. It's been a trying time. The 81 team is definitely not adjusted very quickly to the Dodge power plant. After being a dominant force to be reckoned with in the Jaguar, it feels like this is kind of the story arc of Al Bunch and his climb back to success. Never comes easy, especially when something as drastic as Jaguar leaving puts a big wrench in your plans. Al Bunch, though, he did not forget how to win. I think they are simply still dialing in that Dodge power plant to get it back to where they are successful once again. Braden Varga 1 lap down in 44th place. And Monty Schengle, your race leader, winner, last race out at Iowa. In the month of May, Monty has definitely been keeping it interesting this year when the 2 races already that we've had in the books. Might be interesting to look at prior years to see, like I mentioned, Monty Schengle has not had success here at Kansas. Quite the opposite. He is winless, but he's definitely had a lot of laps led. And so a key detail about that is that even though he has not won here before, he is in a small list of drivers that have definitely had a shot to win. But he's never won at Kansas. 0 wins, 4 top 5s, 9 top 10s, 222 laps led, with an average finish of 12.812 in 16 races here at Kansas. Has not missed the start, obviously. We've been running it. This is our 16th anniversary of Sigma Cup racing. Monty might be the cleanest, consistent, but unrewarded Kansas driver out there with 9 top 10s and 16 starts. That's impressive. And yet tonight showing, he's got the top 10 pace. He's got the ability running up front here tonight. But is it going to be something where he gets snookered later in the race? Can he close it down just like he's running stout right now? A lot of racing to go. 167 laps, which is basically the equivalent of 200 miles here. $250 miles. I think we've made it about 50 miles so far. So there you have it. What we have left in the race now is probably the equivalent of most NASCAR Xfinity races, 250-mile distance. Our Cup race goes about 50 miles longer than that. But we do go shorter. They typically run 400 miles here with the NASCAR Cup Series. We're just trying it a little differently. As you saw here tonight, some glitches on the racetrack. So the shorter race should help us a little bit, not having to deal with pit road too often here tonight, as that's just weird and unexplainable behavior from the AI to be spinning on pit road like that. And I really hope that that doesn't affect your race leading cars that are really stout here. We don't want to see them spinning out on pit road exit, or else we might have to figure out a way to throw a caution and stack them back up here tonight. Monty leading all these laps, and now he's going to be dealing with some lap traffic here tonight. Which is even weirder because we didn't have that pit road glitch the other night with the trucks when we came here. Yeah, the trucks were April. At the end of the April, we ran trucks here. They had to make pit stops and never had that problem, so. Really hoping that that doesn't just happen all night long here, or else we're in for a weird one. Jordan Walker and Trevor Walker all the way at the back of the field. Trevor Baden in 40th. Tristan Reams just went a lap down. He's in 41st place. Tyler Landa in 42nd. Chad Hertenstein in 43rd. Braden Varga, of course, went the lap down earliest. And Kara Shangle in 45th. With Lynn Farrell rounding out the entirety of the field here tonight. 40 laps complete, 160 laps to go. Tasha Wright still with the fastest lap here this evening. It's the number 16 of Monty Shangle who's proving he's got what it takes here tonight to fight for all the points he can get. Try to get back in that points conversation for the championship this year. Sigma Cup Series champions have been a lot of parity. We've had a lot of different winners. Through 16 years, we've had 15 different champions. Dalton Scott broke that trend, becoming the first two-time champion last year. He was the inaugural champion in 2010, and he was, well, just last year's champion, the first ever Sigma Cup champion, bookending basically a nice, neat career. He's retired now. But what a career for Dalton Scott, having won as many races as he did, winning 2 championships, becoming the first driver to win 2 championships, and going out on top like Peyton Manning did, or other big sports icons that were able to win a championship and retire on their own terms. I wouldn't put it against this 16 machine here if Monty Shangle was able to figure it out and find victory, championship worthy again. It might be all he needs in the tank left to just hang it up. You never know. You know, one more championship for some of these veterans might be all they need to feel content and hang up the hat, hang up the helmet. Oh man, we got our second caution here tonight, and it looks to be a bit of a doozy here. Lap traffic, that is the 51 of Tristan Reams. Oh wow, him and Harvey get into it, and Reams is up in the catch fence. He's still tumbling down the racetrack. Wow. I do not know. This pit road is weird, guys. Everyone watching. And that's why this wreck happened here with Chris Harvey. So we're going to have to do some very intricate adjustments next time before we come here to Kansas, because there's some weird stuff going down. I mean, we saw this at Kentucky too when we had 46 cars at Kentucky as well. And it's not everyone that's spinning out. It's just a select few that are getting over the top crazy here. Yeah, no, I don't know what else to say about that one. That's a new glitch that we found here tonight. The crazy part is they're not retiring. They're not breaking their cars beyond repair, so I mean, it could be worse, and it's definitely manageable as long as we don't have green flag pit stops, which would really get out of control. I mean, it works. It's definitely odd and weird, and it hasn't affected the race up front here. I mean, look at Monty Shangle back to the lead here. Did he pit? Yeah, he even pitted. 16 has that #1 pit stall, so instead of spinning out on pit exit, it feels like the pit road speed is maybe not enacted. I might have to look at the track file and make sure that the wow, 42 flies around, gets up to second because of old school archaic pit road rules where he just flew by everyone, spun out, and didn't get damage on the car. Okay, I mean, it's definitely entertaining. I wouldn't say it's realistic or simulation based, but it's different, and everyone's got the same ballpark. I mean, it's just like everything else. Oh, that one's new. Yeah, I think we found we can't do 46 cars on the pit road anymore. We got to do 45. I have not had trouble with 45 cars. Wow, what in the world was that? Well, lights are off on the pace car. It doesn't matter. Those that qualified well and running up front, they don't have to worry about a thing, as they're up here fighting for a race win, and all the other stuff behind them is going down. We still have, with 150 laps to go, we still have 36 cars out there running on the lead lap, 41 in total, so not a lot of retirements. Brandon Butler stealing the lead here from Monty Shangle on the restart. Three wide for about 4th place on back there. Al Bunch in the mix. Tom Cording taking over 2nd place. 3 wide for the top 10. You got Eli the Wolf showing some muscle here tonight. And there is a lot of room for error here tonight at Kansas. I've already seen it go wrong for a couple drivers. Brandon Butler makes his way all the way up front here to lead this race. Tom Cording in 2nd, Monty Shangle in 3rd. And based on our pit road glitch, I'm almost half tempted to throw comp cautions maybe every 50 to 60 laps here, just maybe help alleviate any any other further glitches here tonight. Let the racing tell the story rather than pit road telling the story. But the way things are going, we might get another caution every 50 laps anyways, the way they're racing. So I don't know if we have to worry about that. Monty back on the move here. He wants to get up there and lead this race again. He's been up front for majority of the first quarter here tonight. And during pit stops, the transition has handed the lead over to Brandon Butler the second. But Tom Cording right there with Cording Brothers Motorsports and Monty Shangle with MSM, Monty Shangle Motorsports, and the number 16 Ford. Finley Herwig coming alive here. He's going to be racing on his home soil next month in June when we go to Brands Hatch for the British Speed Fest. That'll be after Charlotte and New Hampshire. We're going to go run 60 laps at Brands Hatch for the Cup Series. It's been a staple last several years with our Sigma Cup Series. And it's even neater now that we've got someone that is a local, that is a resident nearby at their home track, getting to fight for it in the Cup Series this year at their home track. Not only that, but they're going to do quadruple duty. They're going to run ARCA, they're going to run trucks, they're going to run Bridge to Cup, and they're going to run the Cup race. And they're going to be looking to try and take home all the wins at their home track in Britain there at Brands Hatch. That's not normal. And I don't think that's his pit stall that he's even going to is the weird part. Oh, there is a pit stall there. That's on me. I didn't pay attention. I figured this track I had fixed, but apparently there's only 45 entries here at Kansas and not 46. Tough break that the 10 got the worst pit stall here tonight. Going forward, I think I'll make that rule that 45 is the new requirement. And we're so lucky here tonight that even though that's a problem, it hasn't become too big of a problem yet. The only tough part is he can't retire. He's going to be forced to keep running until it runs out of gas and just stays parked there on the grass. And that might be the case. He's probably running low on gas, and that's why he keeps pulling down pit road. So, only things you'll see in NASCAR Racing 2003. Not like real life. You can't really make that stuff happen in real life, but it happens here in the video game world, that's for sure. Yeah, this season has been marked by a lot of parity, a lot of unique winners, a lot of first-timers, a lot of veterans back in the spotlight, and you know, veterans, newcomers that have made it to victory lane that have been at it for the last 3 to 4 years. While you also have the old guard, the original guard of drivers still getting wins from 16 years ago to today. Finley Herwig with the fastest lap in the race. He's in the mix for the win tonight. we go. Battle brewing for the race lead. Tom Cording has it, but Brandon Butler the second wants it. Brandon Butler racing in memory of his dog that passed away this season, this past year. Chevelle has Chevelle riding on the side of the car with him, and he's going to keep trying to fight for all the wins he can get. Definitely a very interesting storyline with that 42, always qualifying near the bottom, but finds his way racing for race wins more times than not. So he's proven it doesn't matter where you start on the racetrack, he's got the ability to fight for the race win every single week. It's actually pretty wild once you put into perspective his average qualifying position. This one will blow you away. Average qualifying start position is 33rd for Brandon Butler II. And he's had a race win. He's finished 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. He's finished runner-up a couple times. He's also finished 9th. So he's pretty much almost finished every position in the top 10 this year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9. Just missing 7 and 8 for that matter. Which he definitely will not want to finish 7th or 8th here tonight when he's got the pace in that car to fight for the win here. Average finish of 18th, so he's definitely been kind of in the checkers or wreckers category. Even when he's doing really good, he's up front fighting for the race win. Otherwise, and that might be a detriment to his bad qualifying habits, that he gets stuck back there with the squirrels and he gets in the wrecks every week. So it's hard to say. His best qualifying position, believe it or not, he had a pole position this year at Talladega. Talk about a true outlier, because there's absolutely no way that that converts over to the rest of his qualifying results, which are 20th or worse. So that's just wild, man. Has one pole this season, one win, and never qualifies better than 20th. Usually it's 30th to 40th, outside the top 30, outside the top 40, and he always seems to find his way up front, fighting for the race wins. We're on lap 69 of 200 here. Like I mentioned early, Monty Shangle has never won here at Kansas, but has led 222 laps. Another side note, Tyler Shangle has never won a race here at Kansas, and he has led 348 laps throughout his career at this track with 0 wins. So it goes to show you, sometimes it does not reward those that are consistently up front leading the laps here. There's always something that comes up. And just like this, the 42 on a transition of pit stops here, it's actually given Brandon Butler II a new lease on the lead here, fighting for the race win, keeping that 16 of Monty Shangle behind him at the moment. We also have the fastest car moving closer here. That's Finley Herwig in the 68 machine. He's, we have not expected to see him this stout on ovals. He's our road course ringer. But all of a sudden, with newfound vigor, reignited for his home track here in a couple weeks, he's looking good and has a good shot at the win here tonight. Heck yeah, it's week 16 here in Sigma Cup. I gave a note at the beginning of the race here tonight crediting those that got nominated into the Hall of Fame, NASCAR Hall of Fame. And my side note was that Greg Biffle did not earn his spot in the Hall of Fame this time around. He came in 5th of evidently the top 5 voters. The votes went 2 of the candidates, 2 of the 5 were nominated, and Biffle did not get enough votes. He was the 5th of 5, and but either way, maybe not this year, but we'll see if he can get it next season, next year. 16 though, Monty Shangle trying to go to the lead here. But overall, congratulations to Kevin Harvick and Jeff Burton on their Hall of Fame, earning that spot in the Hall of Fame for NASCAR. It's kind of crazy that we're talking about, drivers that have only been retired for a handful of years, and they're now locked into the Hall of Fame. It's kind of crazy. I saw Kevin Harvick and Jeff Burton both racing simultaneously together as teammates, and now they are Hall of Fame inducted. Even crazier that Greg Biffle was mentioned for Hall of Fame this year, but just not enough votes to get him put in. Lap traffic they're going to have to deal with here. That is the 22 of Trevor Walker as your race leader. The 42 Brandon Butler II goes low. Here comes Finley Herwig with a good push down low as well. That's going to cycle Monty Shangle in the 16 up outside groove there. And now he's in trouble as that lap car has dropped him all the way back to 5th. But Finley Herwig gets up to 2nd here, and now he's going to be hunting down Brandon Butler for the race lead. So far, 2 cautions tonight. They've been some pretty gnarly wrecks, some big wrecks that have actually sent one car flipping over through the catch fence here. Not through, but into the catch fence at least. And of course, we've had our shenanigans on pit road Definitely some strange happenings on pit road here tonight. But even with those strange happenings, we're letting it roll. I think we can maybe fix it out of the racetrack for next time we come here. But it is kind of a head scratcher as to why they come sliding at the end of pit road and spinning out like they're on ice. And the crazy part is it doesn't seem to affect their tires. I mean, the 42 spun out, and he's, you know, looking like he didn't burn a flat spot in his tires. You would have imagined the way he spun out coming off pit road that it should have flat spotted his tires. But leading the race, driving away with it here. That 42 looks flawless at the moment. Crazy to think that we're basically halfway through another year of Sigma racing. Next week marks race 21 of 42. This right here is race number 20. We were rolling very high and very heavy with the race quantity at the start of the year here. Try and make up for what we were doing last year, where it got kind of tedious running all the races at the at the end of the year and running like 8 races in a month. We tried to switch it around this year and do most of that at the beginning so that we didn't lose too much interest. And we're gonna see a lot more spread out schedule here to finish the season. 1 race a week rather than 2 to 3 on some occasions. This really is the 1 race a week push here at the end of the year. Through May, you got the last race next week at Charlotte in May here. Then you have 4 races in June, 2 races in July with my absence of leave. Then you have 4 races in August, 4 races in September, 5 races in October with 2 races in November to close things out. This year, the Music Fest Grand Prix happening right around Halloween this year at Texas World Super Speedway. 400 miles for 200 laps there. We really haven't talked a whole lot about Music Fest Grand Prix because it's not on my radar yet. I don't know how to get it on my radar necessarily, as I'm probably going to end up using a lot of recycled paint schemes from the last several years. Thankfully, we've not changed mods with the Sigma Cup, and we do not have any plans of changing the mod with the Sigma Cup series anytime soon. ICR through and through. The mod creator also based out of Washington, so I like repping them and giving them credit for creating such an awesome mod. This ICR mod has limitless bounds. You have so much potential to create whatever you decide to create with the ICR mod. So definitely keep Mystic in your thoughts if you're going to be looking at, playing NR2003, as they put a lot of work, a lot of dedication into the modding of this game. Well, we are slowly eking our way towards halfway here tonight. I'm impressed here with Finley Herwig, our road course specialist, showing his strength here tonight on the oval at Kansas. That's impressive. He's kind of like our SVG, basically. Finley Herwig, though, based out of Britain and not Australia, or New Zealand, I guess is probably the correct location there for Shane Van Gisbergen. But definitely, just like SVG, he's showing his ability on the circle tracks, just like the Kiwi does. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, that 42. Brandon Butler II showing his presence here tonight. KBM, Courting Brothers Motorsports running 3rd and 4th with Monty Shangle in 5th there. Monty has led majority of the laps at the initial start here, but that is swapping hands pretty quickly. Brandon Butler II, 42 laps led versus Monty Shangle and his 46 laps led. And then you also got Finley here, who's looking to maybe try and put his name in the hat for leading laps tonight. Ooh, Monty clips the wall on the exit there. Watch this lap right at the end of the lap. Comes into the wall, kisses the wall there, just driving is right to the barren edge that he could in the 16. It's kind of a slight biff, you know, just kisses the wall. Not the biff you want to be doing, but definitely was a slight kiss of the wall. I didn't realize we were that far behind live, but here we are back to live. And lap traffic ahead of your leaders here, they're going to be dealing with right at about halfway. So far, only 2 cautions here tonight. 2 gnarly cautions at Kansas. 1 car went flipping through the air. That was a very scary looking wreck, including the 15 of Tristan Reams here. Halfway, dealing with lap traffic here. Is Brandon Butler going to get around the 17, or is Finley Herwig going to come blowing through? Good run here by the 68. He's looking low. 42 blocks the run. Cuts down low, keeps the advantage on the low side as they get around the lapped cars there. But Finley definitely showing his speed. 46 laps led by Brandon Butler II, ties with Monty Shangle for led most laps here. And he just led another lap to get 47. Right at halfway is when this all happened. 67 laps is the window on pit stops here today, so I'm half tempted once it gets a little bit closer to lap. Well, we'll see if we'll just let them make their pit stops here. It might be a mistake. And you'll all see what I mean by pit road glitch here that is unexplainable. Very weird. You know what? I'm going to throw the caution just because I don't want this race decided on pit roads shenanigans. We've got to fix it for next time, but obviously not tonight. We're going to throw a comp caution every 50 laps until we don't need it anymore. We would only need 1 more comp caution here tonight to make it to the finish. And you'll see shortly, once they do make their pit stops here, what I am talking about. Oh, and we actually have a legit wreck. Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about right there. The AI glitch that we have just now figured out is a thing in NR2003. And it's got to be something I messed up on the track file, the track INI. They're going 130 miles down pit road, and then all of a sudden they try to stop and slow down to 50 miles, the speed limit on pit road, and they spin out. It works, it's just weird. And it doesn't matter for your guy that's first on pit road here, because he gets to take his time. Look at that, the 42. He's going to lose the lead off pit road there. Weird. I don't know how to justify that one, but it takes the cake for the weirdest thing I've seen in this game. Try to have it fixed next year when we come here, because at least I'm able to disable contact on pit roads so they don't get damage, and they're, you know, still able to stay clean. And the racing is great. I mean, we've got some good racing under green flag conditions here tonight, but if they make that pit stop under green flag conditions, then you're just going to have a complete cluster mess. Tasha Wright, your new leader now, followed by Brandon Butler the second. Finley Herwig in third, Monty Schengle in fourth. And then it is John Hagan in fifth. Full send Hagan in the 88. Then you have Luis Rodriguez, Louis Trost, Al Bunch in the top 10, followed by Tyler Schengle and Preston Kundo. Chad Hertenstein will give the wave around. Lights are off on the pace car, 93 laps remaining. Tasha Wright, your race leader, followed by Brandon Butler the second in second. Finley Herwig and Monty Schengle, that's your top four, with John Hagan in fifth. Alrighty, we're getting back and rolling here. Green flag waves, they're off and rolling. 42 gets the good jump there on Tasha Wright on the high side. He cuts down in front of her and closes the door. How about that? John Hagan in the mix now, up into the top four. Getting around the 16 of Monty there. Finley Herwig looking for second place. And now, settling in to the second half here. We're going to be hoping that it stays green. Hopefully, maybe get another green run here without too much chaos and carnage. Do a quick through the field here while we're settled in. Currently running in 5th, you got the 55 of Luis Rodriguez. Good top 10 run for Lewis Trost and Tyler Shangle. And then it is a Hornet's Nest from Brian DeBlanc on back, Al Bunch, Fireball Robert, Chaz Chadwick, Sebastian Torres. John Hagan was up there in the top 10, and now he's all the way back to 13. Flips the wall, gets into the 26 there slightly. Having some troubles here in the 88 as he's falling backwards hard. Lucas Holmes, Cooper Dwight, and Craig the Void with Taden Berger in there mid-pack here tonight. He had a great front row start, outside front row to the pole position of Monty Shangle, but he's just trying to kind of survive at the moment. 77 of Preston Kundo there in the mix. Ryan Little, your race leader, is off the pace on the apron. That is the 42 of Brandon Butler. A brake failure for the 42 of Brandon Butler. We were doing through the field. Tough break. That's going to hand the lead on over to Tasha Wright here. So right from the race lead, Brandon Butler trying to do the best he could. And the brakes gave away right there. You can see he just, he's like, I'm going to abort before this gets ugly. Pulls off the racetrack. And that's all she wrote for the race win here tonight. Brandon Butler, Heartbreak City, population number 42. Had a car capable of winning. Just run the brakes off of it. So now that hands the lead on over to Tasha Wright here. And she's got a teammate right behind her in the 55 of Luis Rodriguez. Tyler Shangle in 3rd. Brian DeBlanc finds his way up to 4th. Yeah, definitely a lot happened there in the span. It looks like the 42, maybe they actually got it fixed. Amazingly enough, he's back out there running. I don't know if that's the quickest brakes adjustment I've ever seen. Maybe it was brake line loose, something, but it was a quick fix. He came down pit road, came right back out, lost maybe a lap or two. Tom Cording was in the mix here today, and he's now, only 1 lap lost for the 42. I don't know what happened to Tom Cording either to be a lap down in 37th place. Had a flat tire on the 87 of Kellen Relic. 30 actually made a pit stop during green flag. Was that what happened? Is he actually on pit road? Oh, he spent extra time on pit road, and everyone else was getting back and rolling for the restart. Huh. But meanwhile, his teammate leads the race. 2nd place teammate as well, Luis Rodriguez, and even James Fireball Robert in the top 5. Great night for KBM as they're 1 short of having all 4 in the top 5. Working his way back into the picture, Taden Berggren. You can't keep him down this year. It seems like that 43 figures it out at the second half of the race, finds his way back up to the front of the field. The brake issue definitely slowed down the paces of Finley Herwig, John Hagan, and Monty Shangle, who were up front fighting for the lead up until that Oh, we're wrecking with drivers in your top 5. Oh, it's a big one, folks. That was 5th place right there. James Fireball Robert from 5th place, parked in the middle of the front stretch there. Wow. And so this is what happens. They just get a little too rambunctious fighting for positions here. Louis Trost hooks him into the 85 of Brian DeBlanc. Back into the racetrack. You never want to see that. That is the hardest way to go out. At pace, no way to slow down. I'm sure some people claim ARCA brakes, but they did not even have a chance to react. That car comes sliding back down the track. There's no reaction time that'll save you from that. At that point, it's not a case of ARCA brakes. It's just wrong place, wrong time. Hard wreck, gnarly wreck. Alex Crowther with the hardest hit there. It looks like Al Bunch was able to cruise through, but Wyatt Wilkinson and Bradley Ream not so fortunate. Wow is right. That was probably the biggest wreck we've seen here at Kansas. And especially happening right at the front of the field amongst some of your top drivers here tonight. This one, it's getting back into the realm of older Kansas. Some details that were pulled for tonight to give some topics, conversation. There has been a kind of ways to explain the eras of races here at Kansas. So originally, back in 2010 to 2017, the Origin era, you had a typical DNF count of about 10th place, or average DNF count was 10 in 8 races. 2018 to 2021, that was part of the Real Racer era, where we allowed drivers like Jimmy Johnson, Brad Keselowski, Casey Kane. You even had Pato O'Ward from IndyCar, Alexander Rossi, and even F1 drivers such as Fernando Alonso, to name a couple, you know. That was during an era that was really nasty here at Kansas, and 4 races had an average DNF count of 18. Well, already tonight we've had 13 retirements. Yeah, 13, maybe 14 retirements. So it's getting back into that era where Kansas was really nasty. We had a lot of wrecks between 2018 to 2021. The modern era, the current gen era for these cars, 2022 to 2025, we start to get back to the tame version of Kansas, where we only had average DNFs of 12. So I guess if we're taking them in 4 chunks of 4 races, or 4 years at a time, might be starting a new era here of some big ones and nasty race wrecks here at Kansas. We're back and rolling. Tasha Wright on the inside here with Tyler Shangle, and Luis Rodriguez on the high side with Hayden Berggren. And now Tyler Shangle up to second there, but Tasha building a big gap over second place Tyler Shangle. We are looking to try and tear up some more cars here tonight. Tasha, no stranger to victory lane. She won a couple races last year in her rookie season of the Cup Series. 2 races at the end of the year, and including the Music Fest Grand Prix from last season. She's been winless so far this year and would be looking, I think, to be maybe our 15th different winner this season if she gets the job done here tonight. So parity, definitely the storyline here. And all she's got to do is keep this race lead in control for 70 laps to go. There will be at least one more round of pit stops here tonight, whether that's, going to be mandated by a comp caution or if we have another wreck. Very high chance that we see some more wrecks here before the end of this one. Let's take a quick glance to see all the retirements here tonight. So out from that last wreck, you had the 85, Brian DeBlanken, 34th out for tonight. 95, James Fireball Robert retired from the accident. We also had the 67 of Alex Crowther, the 94 of Eli the Wolf, followed by the 14 of Kevin Xavier, the 71 of Rich Roy, the 17 of Trevor Vaden, the 10 of, that would be Jordan Walker, 76 Ryan White, the 19 of Chris Harvey, the 15 of Tristan Reams, who I believe is okay even after flying into the catch fence here tonight, the 51 of Kara Shangle, and the 69 of Lynn Farrell out of this race. That is 12 retirements in total. We still have 25 cars on the lead lap, all still fighting for all they can get here tonight. Moving back into the picture, you got Monty Shangle back on the attack. Finley Herwig's back in the conversation as well. And I'm going to take a brief pause here to record, save midway point here. So just like Iowa last week, a track that the Shangles have been able to claim victory at pretty regularly. Here at Kansas, it's a little different. They've only had Jacob Shangle win here at Kansas so far, and Kara, but that was prior to being a Shangle. That was under her maiden name of Kara Carl when she won here at Kansas the first time. And yeah, it's a little different here this week than it was at Iowa because Tyler Shangle and Monty Shangle have led a lot of laps here but have never won at Kansas. And Jacob has 2 wins at Kansas. Had a good start here tonight, but doesn't look like that 60 machine's going to be in the conversation for a race win here tonight at the Kansas Quake 300. But the Kansas curse may be lifted for Monty Shangle or Tyler Shangle here tonight as they're putting themselves in yet another position to fight for a race win here. Is it going to be a statistic that carries on, or can they dash that statistic that's been keeping them, from victory lane here? 222 laps led for Monty, no wins and 16 starts. And 300 plus laps led for Tyler Shangle, 16 starts, no wins. And when I say 16 starts, that's all we've done here at Kansas. They haven't missed a race. They've been at every race since 2010. 16 years later, we're still running at Kansas. It's crazy that, you know, the original tracks that have stuck around since day one. We had a 26 race calendar back in 2010. So there's only 26 tracks that could technically be eligible as a track that we've been to every year. And there's obviously going to be some that, you know, have fallen off, missed a year here or there. And battle for the race lead happening right here. I was trying to tell if there was there is no yellow, no caution. Tasha defends there on Taden Bergeron, but here comes the 64 pushing it 3 wide. Shovels Taden Bergeron to the outside. Sebastian Torres in the middle. Tyler Shangle, Monty Shangle on the inside. They're going to come blowing by for second and third. Taden, though, defending. He's going to try to hold on to second here. You know, you'd think the inside line be the advantage, but it seems like it doesn't really matter here at Kansas. If you've got the momentum and you can carry it on the high side, you can make it work. $60 laps to go here. This race has had a little bit of everything tonight. Some weird shenanigans, some great racing, some absurdly nasty wrecks. I mean, there might be some of these drivers, even though it's a video game, that are hurting after, just watching their car get demolished here tonight. So Kansas starting to develop that storyline again of being a nasty track that you do not want to be in. And as I promised, I'm probably going to throw that comp caution with about 45 laps to go, because I am scared to let this race go green and have green flag pit stops decide this race. That's not how, I do not want that to happen. With the pit road glitch, at least we can make it work, but hoping that maybe we get yet another natural wreck here, as it's been kind of saving us from throwing the comp caution at all for the most part. Kind of had a similar problem at Kentucky a couple weeks ago, and well, actually we don't go to Kentucky yet. That's race 26. So where was I? I had that problem at Nashville, I think, with the trucks. Similar, at least. Even with, the glitches, they're not really affecting your race leaders. This race has been a very well-run race for those fighting for the win here today. I mean, it's just a couple back marker drivers that are having mistakes made on pit road, and it's just kind of a revolving door of the ones not in a position to fight for the win here today. The way they're racing almost makes it feel like a crown jewel event. Next week's the crown jewel with the Coke 600. This is just a staple that's been a part of, Sigma Cup racing for the last 16 years. So it's still great. It's just great to have some great racing on top of all the weirdness. Looks like Monty trying to go back in for fourth here on Finley Herwig in the 68. Chaz Chadwick having a good run here. Looking to go 3 wide for fourth place there. John Hagan. Whoa, here goes Chaz Chadwick. Tasha now on the offense, and Taden Bergeron on the defense here. Hey, for whatever reason, I guess we're lucky that that doesn't actually throw a full course caution every time they spin, because we can actually keep a green flag running. So there's some unusual perks to that glitch. I went ahead and disqualified the 29 for repeated trips down pit road, not meeting adequate race procedure here. Oh, and they're going to hold up your leaders here. That's 39 of Wyatt Wilkinson, who's able to soldier on and still continue fighting for positions as well as he can, even though he's laps down here tonight. We're going to go ahead and throw that comp caution. That way we don't have to deal with green flag pit stops. They'll be able to make their pit stop and finish this race. This last stint here. It's kind of like your short track. Stack them and re-rack them. We can give the wave around to some of the drivers that have been trapped a lap down here. Like absolutely everyone's gonna pick. There's no reason not to get your tank full and fight for the race win here tonight. Absolute silence befalls the racetrack as everyone's making their pit stop here. It's like Tyler Shangle's going to come out second. And we're bowling in Kansas for race car. Weird. Weirdest stuff I've ever seen. But at least it's not under green flag conditions where that would really ruin someone's race here tonight. Got to give them A for effort and style points too. I mean, some of these drivers they're doing slide job all the way back onto the racing surface. Ryan Little right at the edge there, pit road. So this will reset the field pretty much where we've been running here tonight, with Taden Bergeron leading over Tasha Wright. We're going to give the wave around to the likes there of Wyatt Wilkinson. Wow, Chad Hertenstein in the top 10. What a resurgence for him. Well, this will be the last push of the night. No more pit stops necessary, but we'll see if it is the last restart of the night. We might have more wrecks on tap before the end of the night. But it's not gonna determine the overall race. All the glitches and the weirdness. Honestly, this race, I think, has been one of the best races we've had in a long time. There's a lot of changes at the front of the field. We've seen a lot of comers and goers. Kansas is not disappointing by any means. And yeah, we kind of had to, on the fly here, turn this into a stage race tonight. Luckily, it's only a 300-miler, so we broke it into quarters, basically. 4 quarters, kind of like a football game at that point. Throw the caution every quarter. Well, now we're in the 4th quarter, and it's time to put together that good run to the finish. What a great start there for Tasha Wright, getting ahead of the 43 at Taden Bergeron there. They come up and kiss the wall just a little bit on the exit of turn, or entrance of turn 1, that is. Tyler Shangle up to 2nd now. He's going to be hunting down Tasha Wright for the race lead. Tyler looking to try and reclaim his bubble up atop the wins list, the winningest driver in Sigma Cup history. His brother, Jacob, has actually closed the gap by 1 race this season. Tyler Shangle has 36 race wins in Sigma Cup history, while Jacob has 35. He got race win number 35 earlier this year at Texas. So if Tyler Shangle wins the race here tonight, you'll have both the Shangle brothers winning at a race that ends in AS. I don't know if that really means much at all, but it's funny that it might happen twice here if Tyler Shangle bring it into victory lane at Kansas, just like Jacob brought it home at Texas. Running that Greg Biffle tribute car there. That was number 16 that he ran at Roush. Had a KFC car look just like that one. Just had the number 16 on the side. He formerly ran the number 7 in the Busch Series back in the day and got a race win in that 7 car back in the Busch Series days. And that was even like, we've got all the different numbers tributing back to Greg Biffle's career. Obviously, the 16 makes the most sense. The 60 for Jacob Shangle, that's a tribute to his Busch Championship. Kara Shangle running the 51, that's a tribute to when he ran Kyle Busch's number 51 truck and won at Texas on a long stretch between his last Cup win to 2019, where he came out and did a one-off start in the trucks and won it at Texas. I remember that like it was yesterday. Still one of the coolest comeback kind of stories that we'd seen in a while. And then Liz Shangle with the number 50, that is of course paying tribute to his truck championship when he drove the number 50 truck. 3 wide for 3rd place. Here comes Monty Shangle in that Biffle, number 16, looking to try and get back into the fight for the race win here. So now with 38 laps to go, you got Tasha Wright leading over Taden Bergeron and Monty Shangle. Tayden looking low on Tasha to try and take the race lead here. Tasha stuck on the high side. She's going to try to defend and run around the outside here. Monty's going to follow up high with her. That might be a bold move to try and run the outside here. He sticks it up way too high, washes out, and that's going to give the 64 sole possession. Well, maybe not too quickly. We will see if that swaps hands or if Monty's able to fight back on the high side. Tasha's all but lost the lead at the moment, and Sebastian Torres on the move looking for third place. Here comes Luis Rodriguez in the 55, teammates to that 90 car that's leading here. Tasha's going to reach back around and get that lead away from the 43, and here comes Monty Shangle with a full head of steam. He bumps the 43, gives him a bit of a nudge there. Let him know, hey, I'm here. Battle's on for the race win. These drivers all out there laying it on the line. Three wide back there. You got John Hagan, Tyler Shangle, and Finley Herwig duking it out for about 10th place. Wow, Monty Shangle turned the fastest lap here in the fourth quarter of tonight's race. That's late in the run. You don't usually see a fast lap turned this late in the race. That 16 car is flying. Here goes Tayden on the attack again. He tried and failed the last time. This might help open that door again for Monty to make the move as well. Here comes Sebastian Torres. Tasha keeps the lead. Torres up to third. Monty has to fall back to fourth. And another stab at the lead here. He's going to have a nose ahead of Tasha there. Tasha now has a nose ahead of the 43. This is great racing, man. 33 laps to go. It's still hard to say it's anyone's game in the top 5 here. Might be down, but they're not out. 30 laps is still a long ways to go here. Just under 100 miles left in the tank. Roughly under 60 some miles, actually. Tasha leads over Tayden Bergeron. These are two drivers that are kind of the up-and-comers, the rising stars of our series. Tayden is definitely having a breakout season. You don't often see a breakout season every year, but this is one of those years that Tayden Bergeron is firing on all cylinders. He's finally got all the parts and pieces in place to make success happen, and been at it for several years up to this point. Was a rookie back in 2023, I want to say. Been running pretty much full-time Cup since then, and eventually, you know, keep throwing darts at the dartboards, you're gonna hit a bullseye, and I feel like that's finally been his MO. Just keep throwing darts, even if you're blindfolded. Figure it out, and you know, reach the next echelon. As now a team owner, he is a team owner here in the Cup Series, has been for the last couple years. And as you know, a start out cup team, kind of it takes a while to build up the resources and get up there with the OGs that have been there since day one. But now, I mean, you know, amongst some of the Chevrolet teams that have been here since day one. You look at Calvin Steele Racing, still hosts a team out there. Their 26 car has been contending for race wins. That is Lucas Holmes. Lucas Holmes, a race winner this year already for Calvin Steele Racing. And I'd say Tayden Bergeron's actually outperforming one of the staple team owners with Calvin Steele Racing. Obviously, Nelson Chacon has reign over the team since the passing of Calvin, but they keep the car out there, keep it rolling. They still got a car fighting for race wins in memory of Calvin. Monty's looking to maybe try to get up to third here. He ain't done. He ain't out of this by any means. Luis Rodriguez with a stellar performance here tonight. That 55, probably one of his best runs all season. We look at stats for Luis Rodriguez this year. Currently 19th in the points, an average finish of 21st, an average qualifying position of 20th. And his best finish has been a 5th this year at Moses Lake Motorplex. So he's looking to try and match that or even go the next step up the ladder with another great finish here tonight at Kansas. Getting around the 64 there of Torres, but Torres not letting him by. Not an easy pass by any means. And just like Tayden Bergeron, having troubles finding his way around Tasha Wright here. Tasha putting on a clinic performance here at the front of the field. She has led 55 laps. That is now tied with Brandon Butler, the second in his 55 laps led here tonight. Monty Shangles led 46. So we've had 3 different drivers capable of dominating this race here tonight, but it's just, it's been scattered. Lap leaders all over the track at the moment. Tayden's going to give her a bump and run. Tasha led that lap, so she's got sole possession of led most laps here tonight, but Tayden looking to try and take the next step up on the podium. 11 laps led for Tayden so far. Side-by-side racing, this is going to reach. Those other drivers will be able to close the gap. And look at that, the 64 is right there. Torres jumping on your top 2. Tayden closes back in front of him. 64 had to let out of the throttle there. The 43 closed the door. Here we go, Tayden Bergeron trying again. The progressive banking definitely makes this a fun track to watch, because even when Tasha's under attack, she's able to maintain that lead and keep the 43 at bay. And here comes Monty Shangle back in the mix. John Hagan back up into the top 5 here tonight. Oh, and John Hagan's looking to try and slice and dice with Monty there for 4th place. Tayden not able to get around Tasha here. He needs a good pusher behind him to get that lead away from the 90, or maybe some lap traffic. Tayden on the attack. He has the nose, has an advantage. Tasha's going to carry the momentum on the high side, though, down the backstretch. 19 laps of racing still. It's getting down to the end here now. Not as many laps to get the job done. Kind of have to get going while the going is still good. And Tasha keeps the lead away from Tayden Bergeron. That is impressive. Whoa, and the lap traffic is, they're catching the lap traffic at the worst possible time there. Tasha makes one heck of a maneuver there. Tayden falls in line. They keep under the lap traffic. Monty is going to get trapped behind the 39. Bad move there on the 16. As they're dealing with the lap traffic, Monty goes low on the 39. 39 tries to block his advance. 3 wide by 3 wide. 4th on back. Tyler back on the move. Up to 5th here. And through that whole transition, Tasha still leads this race. With 15 laps to go at the line, you got Tasha Wright, Taden Bergeron, John Hagan, Finley Herwig, and Tyler Shangle. That's your top 5. Monty, after all of that, has fallen outside the top 10 for the first time here tonight in a while. Jacob Schenkel jumps up into the top 10 at the tail end of this run here. 15 laps, well, actually top 15, up to 12th. Al Bunch in 11th, Tyler Aspinall in the top 10. Preston Kundo, Chaz Chadwick, Lucas Holmes, Luis Rodriguez, Tyler Shangle, and the battle for the race lead brewing again here. This has very high potential for a side-by-side finish down at the finish line here tonight. We've had photo finishes in Sigma Cup history only twice. Tyler Shangle bested Aaron Rapp back in August of 2020. And just, oh wow, we got a caution? No way. We've got a caution right at the end here. That is the 39 of Wyatt Wilkinson getting turned. Bring out a late race caution here with 15 laps to go. Hold your horses, folks. Anything could happen now. We do have green-white checkers enabled. I was getting ready for this thing to come down to the finish line, but now all bets are off. The other photo finish we had was back in 2024 when Liz Shangle outdueled Al Bunch in the 777 annual in Las Vegas, one of the original Crown Jewel races in Sigma Cup. Our main Crown Jewel event when we go to Vegas each year in July 7th. And Liz Shangle actually bested a very hot and hard to beat Al Bunch at the biggest race of the year, biggest race in Sigma. And we'll be going there again here July 7th, of course. That's going to be on a Tuesday this year. Weird, you know, just the whole concept of racing on the 7th of July every year. You never know how that's going to unfold. But yeah, Tuesday, we're going to be doing it. And I'll probably wake up early. I don't know, we'll see. So that in case something comes up later in the day, I don't know about that either. We'll try to get it in and make sure that it's date marked July 7th. That's all that matters to me, as long as it's stamped and postmarked July 7th on the computer. Well, they're going to get doubled up in a couple laps here for the restart. Tasha Wright has had the car to beat. Taden Bergeron in second there. He's been trying his hardest. It's like watching an arm wrestling event. Those two going back and forth at each other. And then you also got Finley Herwig, the international superstar from Britain. He's putting on a good showing on the oval track here today. Road course regular. And you got John Hagan, the wheelman. He's got some truck wins this year, but he's never won in the Cup Series. Of course, the winningest driver in Cup history, Tyler Shangle. Top 5 runs so far. Luis Rodriguez looking to try and best his performance here tonight with another great top 10, maybe top 5 run. Lucas Holmes, Chaz Chadwick, Preston Kundo, and Tyler Aspinall. That's your top 10. Followed by Al Bunch, Sebastian Torres, Jacob Shangle, Monty Shangle, and Cooper Dwight. Tom Cording getting back up towards the front half of the field. Brandon Butler the second, Liz Shangle, Chad Hertenstein, and Ewan Woodarmy, your top 20. Craig the Void in 21st, Chase Kovacic in 22nd, Jimmy Logano, Ryan Little, and Kellen Relic, that's your top 25. Followed by Bradley Ream, Braden Varga, Carson Bowers, and Dave Steele Jr., rounding out your top 30. It's going to be 8 laps to go once the green flag drops for the restart here. Had 6 cautions. This one was probably the most mild of wrecks here tonight as 39 went for a spin. But it's all going to be about making the best start here. Get yourself in a position to drive away with it. We've seen that outside lane be the place to start. So Tayden might be in the catbird seat to finally find his way around Tasha Wright here for the race lead. But you cannot count out the likes of Finley Herwig, John Hagan, nor Tyler Schengle in the top 5, who could still find a way to steal the race win here. Very clean start. Both drivers got rolling right in the restart lane, and it's a drag race into turn 1. Finley sticking his nose down low on Tasha there. The 43 on the high side's kind of holding up Tasha's momentum here as she's not able to get away. It's going to be 3 wide for the race lead. Finley Herwig sticks it in there. The advantage goes to that inside line more times than not, but tonight that has not been the case. Tasha Wright in the middle drives away and gets the lead back. Impressive stuff from her. Looks like they're trying to wreck in the background, but we're going to stay green with 8 laps to go. Tasha back to the top spot, leading this race. Finley Herwig in second, Tayden Bergeron in third. Of course, green-white checkers could be a factor here tonight if we continue to see some wrecks. Al Bunch into the top 10. Jacob Schengle looking for a top 10. Monty getting cycled backwards here. He's fallen back to 18th, 19th, maybe 20th. Wrong place to restart, evidently. Luis Rodriguez also dropped way back here. He's duking it out for about 15th at the moment. Single file line at the front of the field. Tasha Wright's got the lead over Tayden Bergeron and Finley Herwig. Tasha, the last race she won was at Nashville for that Music Fest Grand Prix last year. Another 1.5 mile track, cookie cutter intermediate style track. Actually, I take that back. Nashville is like 1.333 miles, so not a true 1.5 miles like Kansas, not a true cookie cutter. But here is Tayden on the attack again. This is what we've been seeing all night at the end of this run. Tayden's right there on her back bumper. Could we be in store for another great photo finish here tonight? Tayden has the speed, but he's not been able to execute on making the pass. Here he is, good run on the backside. Has to settle back in line though, does not make the move. Finley looking to try and take second here at the end. Tayden's got the run, but just not the execution by any means here. That 43 struggling to get around the 90. Tyler Schengle still at the top 5 run, it looks like. Al Bunch in the top 10. Jacob Schengle in 11th. Brandon Butler, the second, back up for a top 15, as is Luis Rodriguez looking for a top 15 finish here. Here goes Finley on the attack for second place, as they are running out of time to make something happen. Tasha Wright has that lead, and she's trying to drive away with it now. White flag in hand. Your flag man is going to call this race official by waving that white flag. One more lap to go. Next flag ends it no matter what. Tasha would add a 15th different winner to the season in a season of parity that's already been highly contested, strongly all year long, and it's going to add yet another name to the winners list. Tasha Wright comes rolling out of turn 4 for the last time here tonight, claiming the checkered flag here at Kansas Speedway. Taden Bergeron is going to keep that points lead conversation very stout. Hard to beat when you come out second and win as many races as he has so far this season. Finley Herwig must be getting hot at the right time here, as he knows what's around the corner, going back to his home track in Brands Hatch, UK. So John Hagan with a stellar run, Tyler Shangle, top 5, Lucas Holmes, Preston Kundo, Tyler Aspinall, Chaz Chadwick, and Sebastian Torres was 11th. Al Bunch rounding out your top 10. Monty Shangle brings it home 16th. Not indicative of how his night went by any means. Had a great car, led some laps, was in a position to fight for the win, and just late race restart totally changed the whole complexion of this thing. Well, congratulations to Tasha Wright. Another new winner this season, adding their name to the record book for 2026. Definitely awesome to see the parity, that is for sure. 20 races in, it's either 15 or 16 different winners. So that's hard to achieve any given season, to have that many different winners in this stretch of a season. And KBM comes out on top. They had a couple other cars in the mix here tonight for some great finishes, but unfortunately, the likes of Luis Rodriguez drops at the end there, finishing 15th. 30 of Tom Cording with a 13th, and James Fireball Robert taken out in a wreck here today. Yeah, we're going to stay at 45 next time. That was on me for not doing a little bit more testing. But other than that, the racing was superb. I don't care about the glitches as much as we were able to adjust for it and away from it. And we still had a great night of racing. So thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. Doubleheader action now in the books. And no more races for this week, as I'll be off on vacation. So much appreciated. Have a great night, everyone. Have a great holiday weekend. Stay safe out there. Hoping to see everyone next week for the start of the next round of racing, week number 17. This was week number 16 in the books. The Biffle season didn't get or the Biffle week on the Biffle season, 16th anniversary. Didn't get a Biffle car in victory lane, but it's all right. It's okay. More races left to go. 22 left in the season. Halfway through after the Coke 600. So that's a wrap, folks. Have a great one. We'll see you on the next stream. This is Jakester.